Fire, 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 fire.
It's our boy, Legendary Drops, Poogers. Poogers in the chat. Pooger woogers. Oh my lord, what is going on? I can't believe it's finally happening. Fortnite on fire! Alright, it's finally happening. Oh, excuse me. Alright, chat. What's going on? What is it?
I can't believe it's actually happening. Fortnite has fallen. The mythical dragon that the games industry has been chasing for the better part of a decade. The success that they have been trying to emulate pretty much across the entire games industry is in so much trouble that their CEO came out and flat out said, we are losing players, we are losing money, we need to lay off 1,000 people, and we still need an additional $500 million in cost savings. Good God.
How do you have a goose egg like that and you shit it up? Nah, there's gotta be something going on. Is it like fraud or something?
I don't think people understand just how valuable it is for the games industry to realize that this game is mortal, that it bleeds just like everything else. And the problems that Epic is having, the problems that Fortnite is having is going to send a shockwave across.
I'm pretty sure WoW actually experienced this, I want to say maybe 6 years ago during Shadowlands when Microsoft acquired them. They literally are not making enough money to sustain the game. Yeah, live service games are fucking, like, expensive as fuck. Especially when you start hiring a lot of people that don't do anything. Or it's not worth it. Or player count drops or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
The industry. Now, to be fair, the problems that they're going through, the loss of players that Fortnite is seeing, well, it's a lot. Believe me, you guys are going to be pretty shocked by this. It's not the only part of their problem. The issues that they're suffering from are the same one.
Oh, the other issue with fucking Fortnite is that they're attached to Epic Games, and Epic Games didn't actually have that great of a launcher. Like, that, if people don't really want to use Epic Games, they would prefer to use Steam. That was another big gamble that they did, and they failed completely. Maybe that's where they're hemorrhaging money, too.
That are basically plaguing all of the Western games industry, where they have too many employees. They are spending way too much money. They're not paying attention to the audience that they already have. And because of that, they put themselves into a weakened position where even just the slightest change in temperature is a crisis to these guys. So today, we're going to be talking about how much trouble Fortnite and Epic are in right now, what this actually means for the games industry, and also how some analysts are saying that really, it's Eastern games at fault.
What?
You know, sometimes.
If I'm replaced by a VTuber who does things better than me, why am I blaming anybody else but me? What the fuck is this logic, bro? The Epic CEO is too busy crying about Gabe and then actually working on his company. Yeah, because he's jealous of what they have.
Sometimes it pays to be right. But before that, a bit of a confessional. Today's video is sponsored by Helix mattress, and I have been insanely excited to talk about this.
Whoa.
Mostly because I'm a terrible sleeper. Historically, I've always had a problem with it. I run hot as hell, so I have fans and AC and all kinds of different things that are going, and a lot of background noise for tinnitus because of playing music and things like that. So I didn't really expect for a mattress to change my life, but it did. I went on their site and I took their sleep quiz and it matched me with the Midnight Lux. It was super quick and only took about 2 minutes. And honestly, it made me realize just how much I was messing up my sleep, because 1 in 3 adults don't even get the recommended 7 to 9 hours. And I definitely wasn't one of them. And you guys don't know how much this messes with your life. It can mess with your focus, your decision making, or even just your day-to-day energy. But since switching, I've been sleeping way deeper and waking up feeling actually rested instead of just dragging myself through the day. And they also give you a 120-night sleep trial and a lifetime warranty. You can actually make sure if this is something that's actually...
I think on a good night, I probably get like 7 to 8 hours, but on a bad night, I can go down to like maybe like 3 to 4. Yeah, it takes me forever to fall asleep sometimes. It's really irritating.
Actually worth it for you.
We got ads. No, you didn't. You're watching an ad because of a video that I didn't make. Shut the fuck up. Stop complaining. You didn't get ads.
Without any pressure. I would recommend at least checking this out. Go and take their quiz, see what mattress lines up with you specifically, and see if it can change you like it changed me. So use the link in the description. Use the QR code on screen. Right now, it is Sleep Awareness Month, so you guys get 20% off any mattress that you want to pick up. I cannot recommend this enough. Thank you to Helix for sponsoring today's video, and also thank you to Helix for fixing my sleep. I never thought I'd ever be around to be able to make this video. Fortnite has been the games industry's golden child for nearly a decade now. It's largely responsible for the live service boom, for the rise of battle royales, and honestly, I think it makes perfect sense. Why? Because since launch, Fortnite has reportedly made over $42 billion. It's pulled in over 600.
That's a lot of mom's credit cards. Holy moly. Ah, damn.
50 million registered players and still has around 110 active players just reported in 2026. It earns more than GTA 5 and Minecraft combined, and it averages around 14 million peak concurrent players day to day. To put that into perspective, that's basically like half of the existing player base on Steam at a given time, all piling into one game at once.
That's insane, actually.
Fortnite has launched careers for content creators. It helped make one of the biggest streams in gaming history possible, with over 600,000 people turning in to watch Drake and Ninja play back in 2021. It blurred the lines between gaming and pop culture, with crossovers in damn near every corner of media, from celebrities to movies to other games as well. It pioneered the virtual concerts as well, with Travis Scott pulling in over 12 million players and opening the door to even more events after that throughout the years. Now, I've never really brought this up, and some of you guys are probably going to be surprised by this, but while I have a lot of criticisms for Epic as a company, I have always held a lot of respect for Fortnite, because as a platform, they just kept pioneering. They kept doing things that were experimental. They just kept evolving. They were never afraid of trying something new, whether that meant new modes or huge map changes or just full-on overhauls to the game itself. It became this game that was maybe not made for everybody, but
I can make the comparison to DBD. I think DBD has captured an insanely big audience for what is it called? Whatever the fuck the fucking genre is called. It's fucking survival horror, fucking whatever the fuck. Anyway, not survival horror. Asymmetric PvP. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Anyway. Asymmetrical horror, they've captured a massive audience, and every game that's tried to take it away from them keeps dying, and it's like, you have something clearly, but all they want to fucking do is shit it up and not listen to their player base. And it's really, really grating, because it's like they're clearly not like taking this seriously, because they only care about their fucking investors. I saw this actually happening with the community thing that they did too recently, where they invited like some Resident Evil voice actors or something. Oh no, maybe it wasn't that. It was like Stranger Things, and it was a complete fuck up, and then they blamed everyone else but themselves.
Anybody could play it.
Yeah.
And it was a huge reason that Sony and other...
That's the ego that some of these companies get when they're like the pinnacle, like they're the king of this one thing. Like, Fortnite is obviously, like, a massive, like, fucking big deal. Oh, it's the Walking Dead stream. Yes, Walking Dead stream. Yeah, that was awful. Why would you? The players know nothing? That's not always true. I mean, like, you have an audience. You have to cater to them somewhat.
Platforms finally gave in on crossplay.
At the very least, if you're not going to listen to the players, listen to the content creators that rely on your game for a living. They are literally making you free content and bringing people to your game. Like, part of the reasons that I started playing DBD is because I was watching a lot of Ots Darva videos.
It lowered the hardware barrier by proving a massive multiplayer game could run on nearly any piece of hardware. And while I'm not exactly thrilled with how much they have normalized live service, they avoided pay to win right from the start. They always kept it to monetization on cosmetics only. And they also set a standard on how much free content a game should offer players when it's a free-to-play game. But the sad truth of the matter is that the games industry just never learned the right lessons from Fortnite. Investors and executives just saw the money that they were making, and they just spent billions of dollars chasing their profits instead of trying to understand what made it work. A game this influential, this dominant, was just treated like it was something that was untouchable, a machine that would just keep printing money forever. So these guys convinced themselves that this was the model that they needed to follow, the safest bet for the business, the success that every studio should try to copy. And now that illusion is finally starting to crack. That was only just a couple weeks ago that Epic announced a roughly 15% increase to V-Bucks.
Oh, it is so over. It is so over. 15% increase.
Fortnite in-game currency. The explanation they gave was that the cost of running Fortnite has gone up and that they needed...
They're not even going the inflation route. They are literally not making enough money, I feel like.
help raising money to pay the bills. At the time, this just kind of felt like vague posting, but then just 2 weeks later, Epic would announce that they were laying off 1,000 employees and trying to cut...
This sounds just like WoW. Oh my god. I remember when they laid off like 800 employees at Blizzard, and all of like most of them were like customer support. Back in like what I want to say, they were entertaining the idea of increasing the subscription. They never did. I think a lot of people would fucking quit over it, so they decided not to. But it's like insane to me that it's like, yeah, it's going the WoW route. Like they're not making enough money, I guess. They're trying to hold afloat a massive ship, and the money that they're making, even though it's a shit ton of money, isn't compensating for what the investors want. It's insane. I remember when they laid off a ton of people after record year. Yeah, exactly. They fired high-level devs at Epic. Yeah, now they're gonna go somewhere else because they're mistreated, probably. The fact that they stayed, too.
Another $500 million in operating costs because far fewer players are playing Fortnite. I had to do a double take on this because I thought this was Ubisoft.
This is also another classic case of COVID syndrome. Your numbers are overinflated during COVID, and then they settle down after, and I think Fortnite finally caught up to it.
Or something
They're
like
more
that.
Realistic numbers.
The New York Times reported on this in an article titled, Epic Games Lays Off 1,000 Employees, Citing Fortnite Slump. They write, the video game company Epic Games is laying off more than 1,000 employees, it said on Tuesday, citing a drop in the amount of time that people are spending playing Fortnite. The downturn in Fortnite...
All the kids are growing up, too. Oh my god, this is actually kind of like a WoW moment. Hi, Mia! Hello!
Engagement that started in 2025 means that we're spending significantly more than we are making. And we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded.
Yeah,
Tim
for 10
Sweeney,
years
the
now,
company's
basically.
chief executive, wrote in a blog post.
Fucking time.
This layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable place. The cut represents about 20% of the workforce at Epic Games, a company spokeswoman said. It was the second time in recent years that the company, which is based in North Carolina, had announced major job cuts. In 2023, Epic Games laid off about 830 employees, or about 16% of its workforce, citing lower profit margins for Fortnite. I'm sorry we're here again, Sweeney wrote in his blog post.
What do you mean
Some of the challenges Epic Games is facing are problems for the wider video game industry. Sweeney wrote, slower growth, weaker spending, a drop in sales for new video game consoles compared...
And also Gen Z is like unironically really poor right now too. Yeah, like people don't want to spend money on their fucking... Like back then, you swipe your mom's credit card and then you would just buy your skins. You don't have that kind of money. Like... You can't even fucking afford a house. What the fuck do you mean I'm gonna fucking spend $100 on some Fortnite skins? The fuck?
To the previous generation
Hell
of consoles
no.
and games
Get the
competing
fuck
for
outta
time
here.
against other increasingly engaging forms of entertainment. Despite Fortnite remaining one of the most successful games in the world, we've had challenges delivering consistent Fortnite magic with every season. We're only in the early stages of returning to mobile and optimizing Fortnite for the world's billions of smartphones. Sweeney wrote. Now, I'm not sure what console sales have to do with less people playing Fortnite, a game that you could quite literally play on just about any single device, but he's not wrong about the game struggling to keep up with that Fortnite magic. There was a bump back with that Star Wars crossover they had with the AI Darth Vader that everybody was trying to get to say increasingly deranged shit, but outside of moments like that, the seasonal content just hasn't had the same pull or even the same baseline level of quality. Chapter 7 had a long list of issues: frequent crashes, control problems, movement problems.
That's what you get for firing all those people, though.
Invisible players, a map design that made it harder to navigate, so people really couldn't see any of the new points of interest that they put into it, and that drop in quality has shown up pretty quick. Circana's Matt Piscatella reported that PlayStation users who make up...
Oh my god, I'm actually just like living through another Blizzard. I know I keep making the comparison, but I feel boomed out as fuck, but like Fortnite is literally going through the exact same thing. They're probably going to crash and get bought out at some point. I don't know when, maybe like in a couple of years, maybe like 4 to 5 years. But the fact that it's already happening is so crazy. Because, like, think about it. When did they lay off a bunch of people at Blizzard? It was 2016. They got bought out by Microsoft in 2020 or 2021, one of the two. So that's like 4 to 5 years. Yeah, like, I think someone's going to have to fucking pick up the slack. Isn't Disney trying to buy Epic? I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
35% of active players and Xbox users, who make up 31%, saw their playtime fall from 21 hours and 19 hours in 2025 to 16 hours and 15 hours respectively. That is a massive drop, and it reflects the game not only losing time, but also attention and momentum. So what's behind all of this? Well, funny you ask, because it seems like the titan that helped set the trend for live service games has now become the trend chaser themselves. Yep. Fortnite has lost a lot of attention to Roblox, and in response to this, Epic has shifted their entire focus and strategy towards user-generated content instead of their own content, which makes their own content suffer as a result of it. Now, creators can go in and they can make their own games, and they can monetize those games through cosmetic revenue sharing, something that Tim Sweeney has said has already grown into a $400 million economy.
But it's not enough for the investors, and it's probably costing them a decent amount of resources, too.
The problem is that where that player is spending their time, whether that's in the core game or in a user-generated experience or a mix of both. So while, yes, it is creating revenue, it's also cutting directly into Fortnite's own ecosystem and their own money. This is...
Maybe I should work for fucking Fortnite, bro. I'm such a genius.
It's essentially money that these guys would have been making on their own, but now they're just giving a cut to these creators to hopefully try to grow into something like Roblox. Now, while losing players and playtime is obviously going to hurt this company, this is still not the real root of their problems. The problem that they have is actually the one that's eating the rest of the industry alive right now, where they were successful, but they just did not build themselves to stay successful. They built themselves to overextend. I mean, even after cutting 1,000 employees, Epic is still a company with over 4,000 developers split across Unreal Engine and Fortnite, a game that under no circumstances should require that much overhead to be able to sustain itself.
That's what
now, on top of that, Epic has also torched billions of dollars in their lawsuits with Apple and Google, something that I view as an objectively good deed to society. I will give them that, because both of these companies were and largely still are running effective monopolies on their storefronts, but this is a company that is spending increasingly more money, upwards of $4.2 billion a year now, to run a single game, a single engine, and a single storefront. And if I had to guess which probably cost them the most, well, it's probably their war with Steam.
Doing, bro?
For years now, Epic has tried and failed to compete with Steam, and Sweeney can go online and he can cry about fairness all he wants, but he is the one that is funding exclusives. He is the one funding free games. He is the one trying to corner a market by cornering its players, by backing a platform whose main strategy has been to give away free games while still missing some of the most basic features that people actually use on Steam. They have basically just been handing out free money to developers and free games to players, and neither one of those has translated into any kind of loyalty from their storefront. From 2019 to 2024, Epic Game Store grew by 173%, but their third-party revenue only grew by 1.6%.
That is such a bad overhead. Holy shit.
People would show up for the free games and then leave. They just...
Yeah. Because the Epic Game game storefront sucks. I remember, I think it was not Crusader Kings. It was Chivalry. Chivalry was an exclusive. I didn't buy the fucking exclusive. I waited until it was not exclusive anymore.
Do not want to spend money there.
Ew.
Epic really is no different than the rest of the games industry, and these are the people that everybody's been trying to follow. These are the same problems that's been eating away at everybody. They took their eye off the ball. They stopped focusing on the community and the success that they already had. They stopped making other games. They started chasing somebody else's bag, whether that was Roblox or Steam. Doesn't really matter. Now you got this company that's chasing two dragons at the exact same time, and they're not going to catch either one of them. They're burning tons of cash, and they should have just stayed focused on protecting what they already built. But now here they are, falling apart at the first sign of trouble. I am shocked more people aren't talking about this. This is such an important development. This is such a massive...
The only people that talk about it care. I mean, it's the same thing when Blizzard laid off a bunch of people. People didn't really talk about it that much. The only person that I knew that talked about it was Asmund, but that's because he cared about WoW a lot. Yeah, like, ultimately, it just fucking happened. People moved on, and, like, now... and then the Microsoft acquisition's like, what? No way! Blizzard's got bought by Microsoft? It's like, yeah, well, if you fucking paid attention, you would know.
Deal. I don't think people understand just how valuable
of
a lesson this is for the rest of the industry. I mean, for years now, we've had executives and investors talk about Fortnite like it's some golden goose, like it's a cheat code for the games industry. If they just copied it, if they just did what they did, if they just monetized it and built it the way that they built their game, then they would be able to make so much money that they would become immune to their own problems. They would just be able to spend past their mistakes because there's always going to be more money on the other side. Fortnite floundering, it losing relevance right now, this was always going to happen. This is just a reality for every game that will ever come out because
it sucks. Well, I hate it.
Things just lose relevance over.
I mean, RuneScape though, like Jagex has shitted up the game a bit, but like, I feel like they're not doing such a bad job that they're falling out of irrelevancy. They're maintaining their really, really good, I want to say, like, a retention. Yeah.
Time. Less people become interested in it.
No,
it's not really the fault of the game in some cases, though I definitely think it's actually the fault of their game right now.
But it's not all boss.
You know, them losing money, them losing relevance right now, it shows the industry that live service, no matter how successful, cannot make up for bad spending, for lack of quality, for ignoring the audience that you already have.
Kitty!
This is one of the biggest games in the world, proving that they can't even get away with it.
Kitty.
These companies do not know how to protect their audiences. Either that or they're just not interested in it. They're way too busy trying to chase somebody else's. And,
yeah, well, they only care about money.
You know, now you have one of the biggest games in the entire world that just got caught doing the exact same thing. That should be a warning. Like there's no other way to cut that. The question is whether or not this is something that the industry will hear, whether or not this is something that they can recover from, whether or not, let's say it does convince them, whether they even have enough time to be able to go back on this. According to one analyst, they're already out of time. In the last half of that New York Times article, they pivoted to a market analyst where they write, Joost van Duren, a market analyst and professor at New York University, said that Fortnite must compete for attention not only with popular games like Roblox, but also with social media companies like TikTok and short-form videos on YouTube and other platforms. Its problems, he says, are part of a broader shift in the industry, which is growing more in China than it is in the United States. We're witnessing in real time the decline of American cultural dominance in games.
Because Western games suck outside of indie games. Like, there's not been a lot of bangers. It used to be the opposite. People would come to the West to fucking play good video games.
Van Duren said.
So crazy.
One of these landmarks, like Fortnite, is starting to feel the burn as the consumer entertainment industry is slowly moving from west to east in its financial gravity point. Oh man, I don't think I have ever felt more vindicated.
Yep.
I am outclassing a New York university professor. How about that, guys? Talk about
that doesn't fucking mean anything. I mean, not to shit on his parade, but like those people are, half those people don't fucking know what the fuck they're talking about. Oh, smarter
step
than a
up in the world. I've been screaming about this for the better part of 2 years on YouTube. And this is really getting to the heart of the two biggest problems for the Western games industry. First, that they can't hold on to the audiences that they already have. And second, more and more of those audiences are starting to drift east. Now, I've talked about this in other videos, but this situation has only gotten worse year after year. Honestly, I don't even know if I should really even call it a problem at this point, because us players have definitely been benefiting from a lot of this competition in a huge way. But Eastern publishers have slowly but surely been chipping away at the player bases of these giant Western companies for years now. And it's gotten to the point where the foundation is starting to crack and these guys are falling through. Now, I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples because it shows just how much things have changed in just a relatively short amount of time. If I asked you guys, who do you think the king of open world RPGs are? I would guess that most
open world RPGs.
Most of you guys would probably pipe up with From Software just because of Elden Ring.
Yeah. Who made Nier Automata? Used to be Bethesda? Yeah. Square is Eastern. Yeah. Nintendo. Ooh. Nintendo. I wouldn't say Nintendo. Nier Automata. Yeah, Nier Automata. You guys
people who don't even play their games would probably assume it's them. Then, for me, at least right behind that, it would be stuff like Nioh 2 and 3, and now Crimson Desert, which just kind of came out of nowhere and seems to just get better and better the more that you play it. But rewind that clock about 10 years, and the first name that comes to mind out of anybody's mouth is going to be Bethesda. They were once the defining studio in the industry. Now they're a company that takes 12 years to release a game that is so far off the mark that the only thing people can...
The fact that Bethesda can't release like a half-decent fucking game and they just re-released their like 20-year-old game for like the 10th time on Nintendo Switch 2, it just shows that they are just so fucking bankrupt, man.
Offer these guys is skepticism or a bunch of videos making fun of them on YouTube. Yeah. Now, the funny thing is that I don't even think that Starfield is the main problem here. The real problem is that it took them 12 years to make that shitty game. In that same time that it took Bethesda to make one game.
Bro, Elder Scrolls Online is going to be such ass, I feel like, no? Dude, my cat's fucking drooling on me. What the fuck?
Entirely new generation of players has grown up. A whole new customer base came in barely knowing these guys other than just being the studio that keeps re-releasing Skyrim. And in that same stretch of time, we got Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Elden Ring. We got The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. We got Nioh 1, 2, and 3. We have a long list of RPGs that came in, took mindshare, took attention, and built fandoms of their own. And if you zoom out across the entire industry, outside of maybe first-person shooters and sports games, the Western industry has damn near surrendered every single genre to Eastern studios. Yep. They didn't just lose relevance. These guys gave it away years ago. They stopped innovating. They kept making the same thing. They
milk a fucking cow until it's dead or beat a dead horse. Kitty, you are crazy. You guys hear this shit? He's so happy in the video. He's so happy.
Ever to be able to make their games, and they abandoned genres outright. And every year they did that, more player interest just consolidated somewhere else. Now, China is entering into the picture in a way big way. And
and then the Western gaming journals will seethe and cope and say like, oh no, they're pieces of shit. It's the Communist Party made this game. I don't like this. It's threatening my job and my business.
All this is doing is just making things worse for the West. Now you have this audience with an enormous scale. They have low labor costs and a market that honestly seems a lot more interested in just focusing on gameplay rather than all of the extra baggage that Western publishers just keep piling onto their games. And that is a serious threat to these companies that are already moving way too slow and spending way too much money. I mean, guys, just look at the most beloved games this year so far. You got Nioh 3, Resident Evil 9, Crimson Desert, Pokemon Pokopia, Mugenics, Slay the Spire 2, Monster Hunter Stories.
Yeah, but Pokemon, I would not put Pokemon Nintendo in there because they do a lot of fucking bad shit too. Have we forgotten fucking the Pokemon, what is it called? The new one that came out that was horrible. Even I bought, yeah, Zaza, ZA, whatever the fuck. Yeah, that A to Z, that was terrible.
2 of those games are Western. They're both indie games. The rest are all Eastern.
So
These guys are so cooked. Now, what makes matters even worse is that much of this industry's growth has been coming from Chinese players. People who, by and large, just do not care about Western games, largely because they probably can't even run them. Go look at their Steam reviews. Half of them are just about performance. But when something does hit with that audience, it explodes. Black Myth Wukong sold over 10 million copies in just 3 days.
Ow, Kitty, you are clawing the shit out of me. Oh my god, that hurts. You little motherfucker. Listen to this cat. Listen to this fucking cat. He's so happy. He's so happy. He's clawing the ever-loving shit out of my arm. Oh, yeah, bite the microphone. Let go, please. Thank you. He was biting the microphone. Dude, fucking happiest cat on this side of the Mississippi.
Slay the Spire 2 sold 3 million copies in 3 days, and 43% of those sales came from China. And if you want to see where the center of gravity is shifting, go look at the most played games in China right now. Counter-Strike, Dota 2, PUBG. That is
Dota 2 up there. Let's go. Fucking the GOAT. The GOAT.
Is the top 3 played games on Steam. I don't think that people are taking this seriously. This is not just about sales. This isn't about missing a quarter or having a disappointing launch. These guys are losing the habit. They are losing the default position that they used to have for entire genres. That's the part that people are not fully processing here. When players stop looking at you first, when your name stops carrying the same weight, when you have new generations of players that are growing up to be excited about somebody else's game instead of your own, you're not fixing that with a trailer, a patch, or a live service game. You are irrelevant.
And honestly, it's such a testament too, because even though Pearl Abyss, which made Crimson Desert, is a big company, I think they're owned by Kakao or something. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Pearl Abyss. Never mind. It's its own thing. Never mind. I don't know what I was thinking of. But anyway, my point is Pearl Abyss is a Korean, like, massive company. And even then, they listen to their audience. Like, on day 1, they actually had a patch that dropped fucking, like, they actually dropped and fixed the game and listened to people's complaints. Like, I don't think, like, even a big company doesn't listen to their fucking gamers. To the people, the customers. Why would you want to lose a customer? They give you fucking motherfucking money. They'll go somewhere else.
Western publishers have now spent years trying to engineer success from the outside in. More money, more developers, more management, more systems, more monetization, more market research, more trend chasing, more how do we capture this audience, more how do we increase our engagement. Everything is built around extracting a bigger result instead of just creating a stronger product. So what comes out on the other side is just going to feel hollow again and again. Expensive, polished, maybe technically impressive.
Polished is not a word I would use. Most AAA games do not have a good launch.
Sure, but ultimately hollow because you guys do not care about the product itself. You can feel when a game is built by people that are trying to build something that players love, and you can feel when something is built by people that are trying to secure a return.
So BDO.
Meanwhile, a lot of these games that are actually pulling players right now understand a much simpler truth. Just make a good game, make a fun game, make something with a strong identity, a clear fantasy. Momentum really matters right now.
AC Shadows could fucking never, by the way.
Make something that people are going to be immediately excited to talk about. That's what you want to do. Not every single Eastern game is doing this. Not every indie game is doing this, but enough of these guys are doing it that it's becoming impossible to ignore. Players want a game that feels like they know what they are rather than these games that come out that are still trying to figure out who they're being made for. They want games that commit. They want games that are confident in themselves. And in the West, for a long time now, that's just not been the case. That's why Fortnite stumbling matters so much right now. This was the untouchable one. This was the golden goose that every single executive treated like it was the blueprint. Everybody wanted one of these games. And now that even that is cracking, even that Fortnite is now proving that you can't outrun weak direction over overspending and a drifting audience forever. That should be the lesson.
I wonder how much of that is actually based on like the aging demographic of Zoomers growing up into like 20-plus-year-olds and being like, holy fuck, I don't have time to play and I don't have time to do this shit and I don't have money to buy your stupid skins. I don't know, like how much of a factor is that? On top of like, you know, the game degrading over time.
Guys need to learn from it. You cannot fix this industry by chasing the next dragon. You can only fix it by remembering why players showed up.
True.
Epic is essentially just doing the exact same thing as every single other game publisher right now. They're just chasing everybody else's tails. They're running out of ideas. Either that or they are just so fixated on somebody else's money, on somebody else's audience that they just can't get it off their mind. So the only thing that they focus on is, well, user-generated content, retention, metrics, whatever it is. We have to think about the attention economy. No, you don't. You need to think about trying to make a better game. This is what I mean about these guys being focused on trying to extract a bigger result rather than just trying to make a better product. Funny thing is, better products sell. When you look across the industry, you look at a lot of these games that are just absolutely crushing it right now and also crushing our wallet as a result of it. The reason why these games are doing so well is because that is their only fixation. They only care about trying to make the best game that they probably can.
And it sucks because it's like the 50% V-Bucks increase. Instead of just investing or like, even if you're gonna cut people, like just make like something really, really fucking good. I also can't imagine it's super cheap to like keep doing these collabs. You know, you don't... If I really think about it, why are you doing so many collabs and like milking people's wallets? Like if I think about it from a business perspective, why would you want to back-to-back like collab all the time with really, really big companies if your customer base doesn't have like an infinite enough amount of money? Like you got to give them some reprieve, you know? Like, that's why I think it from, like, a business perspective. Kitty, you're clawing the shit out of me. Ouch. He's fine. Ugh. He just jumped off me. Yeah, the series of VTubers to debut most of your attention. Yeah, but then you don't have any money. Like, if you're gonna drop, like, a debut and you have merch, those people aren't gonna have the money to buy your merch if you only give them, like, a couple of months to, like, recoup their wallets. I feel like it's a considerate and also like it's better for you monetarily speaking.
Not worried about trying to reach for somebody else's audience or somebody else's money. No, these guys realize that that is a byproduct. You reach that goal by getting to it through the audience that you have and through the success that you find. It's all about just making a better product with no detours. The reason why a lot of these Eastern games have been doing so well over the past couple of years is I think it's because these guys just don't have the time to be able to worry about anything else. A lot of these companies that are coming in are either fresh to the industry or they're breaking into new genres or new markets. So what ends up happening is they don't really care about things like retention or anything like that. The only thing that they care about is whether or not they can get you to show up. They'll figure out everything else after the fact. So that's what they're building these games for. They're building these games so you at least show up. And
if they're going down the WoW route, there's gonna be something that replaces Fortnite, and they're going to be so fucking pissed. They're going to be so upset that something is replacing, because that happened with WoW with Final Fantasy when there was a mass exodus of people that just migrated from like World of Warcraft to play Final Fantasy and like RuneScape and a couple of other MMOs, and it's just scattered across it, right? Already is Roblox. Yeah, I guess like Roblox is kind of the response to it, but I would say Roblox also, I mean, it has its own fucking issues, you know, the predator problem. I don't know, man.
I think that's kind of one of the most important lessons of all, is that a lot of these companies got away from building games that people show up for. Kind of, you know, need us to be there first before you start trying to take our money, right? I don't know, man. I don't know if any of these guys are going to be able to learn from this. It's like a two-sided thing. Like, one, are they actually ever going to be able to learn from any of these issues? And then two, is there actually enough time for a lot of these guys to be able to do so? I think, you know, after all the layoffs that we've seen over the past...
MMO's a dead as genre now? Oh, like, I don't want to agree with you. It's so painful to hear that. I don't think MMOs are fucking dead. He's right, but it's true. I know, but I don't want it to be. No one has time for MMOs anymore. But time isn't a factor, because, like, if you think about it, in 2004, you had parents playing with like 10 children screaming in the fucking background. You know what I'm saying? It's not about time. I just don't think that the investment of time. Here's an analogy. I used to play WoW, and when I started realizing that I was logging in and playing a game is when I stopped. And that was like around about like Legion. Like, I don't get me wrong, I played the shit out of Legion, but like at the same time, that was when I realized I was playing like almost like a treadmill, and I wasn't logging in to have fun anymore. And that's when the immersion got fucking ruined for me. That's what I feel like with, even if you don't play an MMO, you can realize you're logging in to play a battle pass, so to speak. And good games, you get so immersed in them. Even if it's an MMO or if it's a shooter, you don't realize how much time is passing because you're so immersed in having so much fun. I used to do the same with League. I used to play League all the time. Back in like 2015, like 2018. I played it all the time to the point. But then there came a point where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this isn't even fun anymore. That's kind of how I felt about WoW. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Couple of years. I think that there's going to be something more drastic that's going to hit.
In 2004, parents would have to do 2 jobs and a part-time job at the same time to pay bills. Oh, you're right, but it was 2008 when the economy crashed, and my parents had to do the same thing, and they had to work 2 jobs. Fucking people still played WoW back then. That's not even a good metric. That's not a good metric. 2008 was really, really bad. Like, yeah, sure, yeah, today is really, really bad too, but I'm just saying, like, people want to forget. They want to have fun and not think about what they're doing, but then when you're logging in and they're shoving microtransactions in your face, they want you to log in and do your fucking treadmill. People want escapism, but, like, it's not that anymore. It's really
Probably
not.
Soon. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I don't know who it's all going to hit.
No, I had friends that played.
Basically, every single one of these companies, they've been taking so many financial losses, massive financial losses for a while, that it's too much to ignore. It's too much for their shareholders to ignore. And you're just going to see this mass displacement of talent. You're going to see people just...
That's what happened with a lot of Bungie, Blizzard, 343, what's another really big one? I mean, my point is still, like, these massive companies that were like the pinnacle of gaming between 2004 and then 2010, maybe like to 2012. They had a mass with this pause. They had a mass exodus of talent that was like, I can't do this anymore. This isn't what I fucking wanted. Yeah, BioWare's another great one. Ubisoft. Dude, he's soy pogging so hard.
All over the place. A ton of indie studios. Probably some of these Eastern studios are also going to pick up some of these guys as well. It's not like there aren't talented developers at some of these Western companies. Just the problem is they just have horrible leadership. Literally some of the worst, most misguided leadership in the entire industry. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, man. Live service is definitely not the answer. That's not to say that live service games can't be good or that you can't make one. The problem is that when you think it's the answer to all of your problems, you need to have a better plan than that.
True.
A lot of these guys don't.
That's deep.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of what's going on here. Are you celebrating the fall of a giant? I am, kind of, a little bit.
Not really, because I know
share it
what
on social
happens.
Media. Share it with your friends. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Peace.
DI isn't helping either. Yeah, how many of those 9,000 Fortnite people that still work at Fortnite, how many of them are just women that pencil push and shit? Yeah, like, how many of those are those people? I know for a fact there's a lot of those at fucking Blizzard. Yeah, there's a lot of those. Not to disparage people that work there and actually do work, but they, even okay, let's even cast aside game devs. I think that like at any company there's a lot of fucking Karens. Yeah.
Fire, fire, fire.